What's up everyone, it's Caddy with Money Investing. In this video we are going to be talking about one of my favorite retail companies, retail stocks, and I'm going to break down what their earnings expectations are because they are going to be reporting next week, and my intrinsic value calculation where I would love to buy this company. And not to mention the technical setup right now is literally screaming a big move is coming because we're right now in a symmetrical triangle for this stock. And of course that company is going to be none other than Costco, ticker symbol COST. So hope you guys enjoy this video. If it's helpful, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're just joining us for the first time. The link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below if you're interested in joining us. Of course, getting access to all the buy and sell alerts, options alerts, trade ideas. There is a 16% annual discount available till the end of this month. So you can access that down below. So this right here is going to be the earnings expectations for Costco at just over $3.33. And revenue is expected at just over $54.6 billion for the third quarter of fiscal year 23. And they are going to be reporting numbers on May 25th after the markets close. Now, Costco, the reason why I love this company in terms of the numbers and fundamentals is because it has had very, very nice, consistent, predictable growth. So revenue going from about $105 billion to over $226 billion. And trailing 12 months, they're doing over $234 billion. Take a look at that gross profit, just absolutely phenomenal, from 13.2 billion growing that to over $28 billion, so more than doubled. And operating income has gone from 3 billion to almost $8 billion, more than doubled for operating income as well. And take a look at that net income, just absolutely staggering numbers, consistent growth here from $2 billion all the way to well over $6 billion on a trailing 12-month basis. Shares outstanding, just absolutely perfect, pretty flat, 440 million to 446 million. EBITDA, diluted EPS, everything just very, very consistent, very, very stable, growing, moving in the right direction. That's exactly what you want to see. This right here are going to be margins. So again, it is a retail stock, so you don't expect very high margins from these companies. So we got a 12% gross profit margin. We've got about a EBITDA margin of over 4.2%. Net margins pretty low at 2.5%. And return on total capital, equity, and assets is extremely good at well over 9, 16, and 28% respectively. This right here, not a lot of retailers have good balance sheets, but Costco does. It's got more cash than debt on the balance sheet. So cash sitting at well over $13.7 billion, which we'll take a look at our net liquidation value as well. So $13.7 billion of debt, accounts receivable, $2.7 billion, inventory of $16 billion, property, plant, equipment. This is the gross number I'm taking, $44 billion. And overall, their total assets that can have a lot of physical value, $56 billion after accounting for those recovery rates, and total liability sitting at $44 billion. So their net liquidation value as of today is a little bit under $12.3 billion. And that's going to be per share, $27 per share. So we can kind of ignore that because the company's got very, very solid balance sheets. There's no bankruptcy risk to begin with. So negative net debt of $4.5 billion. Good current ratio. Quick ratio is not that great, so they might have to move a little bit of the inventory and cash to make sure that they kind of meet up with those short-term liabilities when you take inventory out. So they do have a lot of inventory on the balance sheet. And then we also have a 10.86 debt to free cash flow, which is not really a big deal because their net debt is negative. Now, the only thing that kind of concerns me a little bit is the valuation, right? Valuation is pretty high for Costco. It almost always has been. And that's one of the reasons why I've never really owned Costco to begin with, is because it's a great company. I love everything about it, but the valuation, the pricing is just too high. We're trading at 36, 34 times earnings. Then price to sales, we're trading at a little bit over 0.91 or just a little bit under 1 at the moment. And enterprise value to EBITDA is trading at over 20 to 21 times at the moment. And of course, we got price to cash flow at 21 to 23 times cash flow at the moment as well. So this right here is going to be the earnings expectation for Costco. So $14.42 is going to be that EPS all the way growing to $34.87. So that's pretty strong growth, and revenue also expected to eclipse almost $500 billion by 2032. So going from 242 billion to over $455 billion. So once we plug in those numbers here, we're only looking at a growth rate of about 10% for the next 5 to 9 years. So 10% is that number for Costco's earnings growth in the future. So if you plug in that number and let's say 10% here, and a PE multiple, we're going to come back to this, but 12% discount rate, 10% margin of safety, 0% is going to be that share dilution because it's been pretty flat, not buying back shares, but not issuing shares either. Now the PE multiple, this is where things are going to get interesting, right? They're trading at a 35 times earnings multiple, which is extremely high in my opinion. So I'm not going to go with that high of a number. Even if I go with 25, and the reason I'm going with 25 is because I consider Costco to be a very premium brand within its own space in the retail sector, because it's got very consistently growing revenues, profits, earnings, margins, and it's got a great balance sheet, right? So it's not like bogged down with a lot of debt, but it's got excellent balance sheet. So I'm gonna go with, let's say, 25, and then we end up with a fair value of close to $300 per share on the dot, like $300.61. That's going to be about a 40% decline needed for Costco for it to actually make sense. And on a forward basis, it'll be trading at 20.6, 23, 23, 24, 24.6, and eventually 25, with a price target of almost $600 by 2028 for the company. And this right here is going to be that sensitivity grade, so you can kind of see that for yourself. Where you see Costco in terms of growth rates and P multiples. But this is where I would personally be at close to $300 per share. 10% growth rate I think is more than reasonable, but the 25 times P multiple more than generous for this company. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you think? And this is the technical setup. I mean, it's absolutely crazy how much it has been consolidating sideways. So we have literally just been moving in this symmetrical triangle, making lower highs and higher lows, and it's just kind of like coiling in to make a pretty big move once the earnings come out. That's for sure, because that's really why it's just kind of seeing this lower high and this higher low kind of coil us into this very, very tight wedge. And eventually I do expect a big move. Now the thing with these symmetrical triangles is that it's almost impossible to predict where it's going to break towards. It can either be a breakout or a breakdown. So it's more about a reactionary trade as opposed to a predictable trade, because we don't really know. It's the probability of the odds are pretty stacked, like 50-50. There's no one side that's actually winning right now. Lower highs represent the sellers are strong, higher lows represent the buyers are strong. So we're kind of like in that consolidation area with equivalent amount of pressure coming in from both sides. So eventually we might see a big move, but we just don't know what direction that's going to be in. So if it does come down, support level is going to be in the 440, 450 level. So this right here, very strong area of support for Costco, with a resistance all the way up to this level over here. Of course, it's going to be sitting roughly at 560s to as much as its all-time high at almost $600 per share. But if it does end up selling off, down to low 300s, I would love to, take a stab at this level. And that's going to be all the way down here from February of 21 level. So that right there is going to be that support level that I'm watching for Costco, of course. So that's going to be the entire analysis. And again, hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But Costco, definitely with the symmetrical triangle technical setup, does suggest there's a big move coming here for this company very soon. So again, let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about Costco? As always, if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below with that 16% annual discount. As always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.